Welcome to Pandora's Awareness Podcast, a place where we collect stories and circulate life-changing wisdom. I am your host, Asher, and we have two incredible guests today, Phyllis and Icy. But my co-host today is Queen Lav, and I keep calling her name Queen Lav because she loved that name, by the way, and I think she's gonna claim it.
Yes,
But we have
thank
two
you.
incredible guests today, Phyllis and ICB. We're gonna get to talk to them about the theme of today, which is around fear. What's our relationship like with fear? What are some of the things that have happened to us that we experience with fear and what we do about it? And oftentimes wisdom is in our story, the things that we overcome. And I get to hear from Phyllis and ICB. I don't know what you guys' story about, and I'm curious about it. So we're gonna start with ICB. You don't mind introducing yourself? Tell us,
Okay.
tell us who you been a hero to, what you specialize in, and how you add value to the world. And we do the same thing for you, Phyllis.
Okay. My name is Icy Barzey-George. By day, I am a clinical dietitian. I've been working in the geriatric industry I'm officially hitting 33 years.
Mm.
Wow. When I say it, I'm like, oh my God, because I'm like, praise God. I'm 53, but I don't look it. So I'm claiming that, I'm receiving that. But yeah, as a clinical dietitian, I because of my own personal health and self-discovery journey, I would say that I began in my late 30s. I transitioned into doing mentoring with clients privately, doing workshops, doing public speaking, talking about sharing my personal weight journey. And ironically, today's topic was a big foundation on how I ended up to this day, talking about releasing fear. Because I was an obese child, I always, limited myself. So ironically, I'm excited for today to be here to talk about fear and how we deal with it. I like the question you asked that, who am I a hero to?
Who you been
I
a
would
hero
def
to? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would say my husband and my daughter. I have a beautiful 21-year-old who is about to graduate from college in 2 weeks. And
Congratulations.
thank you. And this journey, allowing myself to be transparent in front of my daughter has been very important to me because I did not want her to live her life in limitation and in fear. So by watching me go through my personal journey and being transparent about the fears and past hurts in my childhood and just sharing, and she gets to, when I go touring and going doing public speaking, I take my daughter everywhere with me, so she really gets to see how I share my story with the world and how I touch lives. And well, she always tells me that I inspire her, so she always says that I'm actually her biggest hero. She talks about that a lot, and it's amazing to see the fearlessness that she has. She's just like, she's fire. And I didn't have that at 20, 21 years old. So watching her, I'm like, okay, God, she heard me. And thank you for using my life to show her that she doesn't have to be like the younger me. So I'm just grateful to be here.
I love the way you speak with passion and excitement when you talk about your daughter. I just love
Yeah,
it. I can
that's my
see it.
heartbeat.
It's your heartbeat. Well, congratulations to her for having such an incredible mom. And shout
Thank
out to
you.
her on her getting ready to graduate college. I know that's a major milestone. Major
Yes.
milestone.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes. Same question for you. How you adding value to the world? Who you been a hero to? And what you specialize in?
So I add value to the world, not just about my certifications or things that I've done like that, but I think just some people will say aura. A lot of people have said I'm a very peaceful person, although quiet. A lot of people come to me for encouragement or they know they can rely on me. So that's one way I add value to the world. I said earlier that I was on leave, so I have been a special education teacher for 18 years, but it's time for something new. So I'm specializing in writing. I've written a few children's book, a few books and journals and things like that. So I'm ready to focus on that primarily. the person who I feel like I'm a hero to, I think it's many of my students. I hope I've been a hero to them over the last 18 years. And my immediate family, my nieces and nephews, and sometimes just a stranger will say, Phyllis, I like how you're thought provoking, or I'm glad you mentioned this about a issue. So that's how I'm a hero, or who I'm a hero to.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that because so many times we feel like we inspire more strangers than our family members, right?
100%. Oh my God. They like the hardest crowd to entertain, man. The family. Oh my God. Lav, you right on that one.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's so true.
So
So many stories.
I'm gonna jump into Phyllis because she mentioned that you feel like a change. You feel like you're going into a change right now. So I know with that new desire to do something different comes fear. So what does that fear feel like for you trying to want to do something new?
It feels, I think the thing about fear is it feels so uncertain. I don't know what to predict as far as a routine. I've never done this before as a primary business. So fear feels like a lot of uncertainty. And I think with that uncertainty, you want to retreat back to what's familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just pushing past that. I like to know what's going to happen. Like, I kid you not, one time I gave my friend an itinerary. She was like, Phyllis. So to just be in another space of something that I'm not specialized in, it feels uncertain, but it also feels like destiny.
So what's that destination?
It's going to be to inspire people like me. I think with a lot of coaches, I'm not a coach, but a lot of people that's in the helping field, they client themselves. So I was extremely introverted before. I worked on myself a lot. And it's going to be to inspire those people who have all these gifts that are hidden to the world, and to also just fall in love with themselves.
What are your thoughts, dear ICB?
I could totally agree as far as the fear of the uncertain. I used to get into this space in my head where I was just like, what if this doesn't work? What if no one listens? What if no one believes what I'm saying? What if they think I'm a joke? And things like that. And then I had to flip the question. Well, if I don't do it, my gifts won't be shown. No one will ever hear my voice. And I have something to say. But it took a lot of self-work. I did a lot of prayer meditation, affirmation writing, and I really had to what I call the white noise in my head, really flip it. And every time that I thought I couldn't do something because of fear, I would put on a piece of paper, why? And I would give a reason why I couldn't do it, but I also had to give a reason why I could. And after a while, I no longer had to write it. I could just say to myself that I am worthy to be here. I am enough. I can do this. That my story has value and can change someone else's life. Years ago, I still am into it. I'm very into vision boards. I had went to a vision board party, and at first I was like, oh, this isn't, this is not my thing, but I was supporting a friend, and I started to put different images because I was on my weight journey, still am, and of what beauty or what I thought I wanted to look like. And on the top of the vision board, I had put my story will change someone else's. And I set the vision board up in my room so that every time I woke up in the morning, that's the first thing I would see as I rose from my bed. And I always set my eye on that. And I would put on it author. I put on there speaker. And at that time, that wasn't even a part of who I see Barzey-George was because of fear. But in my head, I would have this constant dream where I'm on a stage or in a theater with thousands of people in front of me, and I'm in the highest stiletto heels, because I can't walk in heels, but they are the baddest heels. and this royal blue suit. And I've had this dream over and over and over. And I don't know if Oprah's in there, but anybody who's anybody is hearing me speak. I don't know. I can't tell you what I'm saying, but everybody's eye and ear is on me. And I've had this vision for years. So it's funny to slowly, it starts in a room of 10, in a room of 20, to a room of 100, where I'm walking across stage, sharing my weight journey. I had won a contest where I came in second place as one of the biggest losers for my health and wellness company. So, again, my story is changing someone else's. But in the background, there's the white noise in the head that tells you can't do it. And I was just like, no, girl, look at you. You went from a room from 10 and now you got thousands in front of you. You can do this. You are doing it. And so it's gotten easier and easier and easier. So it's just, I had taken a break due to COVID, and life was lifing and things like that. So being on your platform, this is me getting back into doing what I love, because I love having conversations with people and realizing that I'm not alone in this journey. We all have fears coming from different, facets of life, and that it doesn't matter how rich or poor, black, white, green. You could be in New Delhi, India, Bronx, New York. Fear is something we all have one way or another. And it's beautiful when we could say yes to our healing, to just say, I could do this, and show up. So that's what I'm doing. I'm showing up. Yeah.
It's a universal feeling. Can you tell us a little bit about your company? So you said you specialize in wellness and lost weight?
Yeah. About in 2013, I worked for this nursing home. I was in an accident, a slip and fall, and I ended up having to have 2 emergency surgeries that caused me to have to learn how to walk again. I had some damage to my spine that the doctors say as I get older will get worse, but I don't claim that. They were actually pumping steroids into my spine so that I could feel my legs move. That's how bad it was. And I was in the midst of my weight journey. I had dropped like 120 pounds at the time, and I had maintained that for several years. But by them starting with the steroids, I just blew up. So I was like literally watching myself just blow up like a balloon from these steroid treatments that I needed to walk and feel the nerves in my body that were helping one thing, but it was causing another. I was just barreling into a state of depression. And I came across one of my business partners that she happened to have these natural products, detox teas, vitamins, things of that nature. And I wanted to get off of the narcotics and things that I was using for my healing and go more on a natural alternative. So with that, I was able to lose a total of 165 pounds, get back into my regimen, was cleared to be able to start working out. I had got a personal trainer that I had been working with for several years. And I started to share my weight journey on social media, which because of fear, I would never do that. I felt that my story needed to be told, and it was like I challenged myself. I just made a video, sent it, and put it out there. And it actually went crazy. And people, I got, positive feedback from perfect strangers. Then I got the negative one person that's like, you're crazy. What if you gained weight back? And I kindly DM'd the person and was like, thank you for your comment. But it's people like you that keeps us where we're at. And I'm just letting you know, thank you for your comment, but you're about to be blocked. And I blocked the person. And the next person that sent me a comment, she lives in Ireland. Never met her a day in my life. She said, I don't know how this video came into my news feed, but I was contemplating committing suicide. And just hearing you be so transparent about your weight inspired me to, you know, hold on, because she's morbidly obese, she's bedbound. And so then I asked her, you know, could we talk? And we actually became online friends over the years. And she was able to drop some weight, but not significantly enough to be able to be more mobile, but she's still here with us. And like you said earlier, it's where what we do is not for our friends and family. It's the people that we never see, that may never click like on your social media content, but need to hear that they're not alone. And so if me stepping out of fear and showing up for myself and being transparent and showing that on social media is going to save one life, then
it was
my
worth
goal
it.
is
Yeah.
yeah.
What was the fear about? Fear of being vulnerable, exposed,
Yeah, all
judged?
of that.
What was it?
I'm sorry.
Judged, maybe? What
That
was it?
too. That too, because people can be cruel. I'm on social media. I try not to be on it every day, and I see women who are doing the same thing that I'm doing, and they're like, I can't believe she wore that to the gym, and why is she wearing that outfit? And just cruel. And I said, words are powerful. You don't
Yeah.
know when you're sitting in kissing me wherever, and you type something into a comment, and you don't know how that impacts that person's life, because mentally they may not be able to handle it. So I get it. And it's like so many people have that may never meet in person have said, you know, just the fact that you show up every day and you see your trainer and you share your videos. I have people that can't walk, but they sit in a chair and they will do what I'm doing because they can't come out their house, and they write me or email me or, you know, DM me, and they were like, you know, I don't, you know, I just want to thank you, because at least you let me know that even though I'm wheelchair bound or I can't move or whatever, I could do something, you know. So I've come to the point that I'm not for my sisters. I'm not for my father that I couldn't save when he wasn't listening to me and he died from cancer because he was eating all this crap. I'm not for them. I'm for the person that I may never ever meet. I've been blessed to meet some of the people on social media when I go to different events and things like that. So it's really nice to put a face with the DMs. So that's a blessing. But I've just learned that my story will change someone else's. And for me, stepping out of fear has become so therapeutic in my healing. I don't limit myself. I've I've it's so funny when I tell people, because I'm a big girl, I just came back from Morocco last year, rode a camel across the Sahara Desert. I don't know nobody in the Bronx that could say, yeah, I did that too. So when people like, you, bro, I was like, so I would say, if my big behind can get on a camel, so can you, if you want to. I've gone to Indonesia, swung off a rope across a rainforest, screaming out affirmations. My husband thought I was crazy because I didn't tell him I was going to do it. He saw it after the video was taken, but
Oh
it
my
was something
goodness.
I had to do. And I've just gotten into a state of boldness in my life that I did not have in my teens, in my 20s, not even in my 30s. So it's like it's really saying I always say fear was like that toxic boyfriend that you knew he made you feel good, if you know what I mean, but you knew he was just no damn good for you. And in your head, you knew he would treat you bad in other aspects, but he would make you feel good just enough for you to stay. That's what fear represented to me. and I had to break up. And I was grateful to come in contact with she calls herself a transformation specialist. Changed my life. Her name is Tina C. Hines. When I say she's the foundation of who you see now. And I always get tears when I talk about her, but she really is. And she really nudged me into stepping out of my fear in all that I do. And she gets tickled because she knows I was such an introvert. I still am to an extent, but the things that I do now, I would not have done this 10, 20 years ago. I had locks down to my behind. I came back from Indonesia. I shaved my head bald, went blonde. That was so not Barzey-George behavior if anyone knew me. So it's like she always says, I'm really in an unapologetic, bold era in my life right now. And I wouldn't pay to go back to where I was for nothing. That's where I'm at now. And I want to take everybody with.
Well, ICB, that was an incredible story, by the way. So thank you for just laying that out for us, and we can see your journey, how much passion you put into what you're trying to do, how you're trying to impact the world. And I'm curious to know, like Phyllis, just listen to ICB's story, just listen to what she was talking about, how she approached her journey. What was showing up for you?
What I heard a lot of, or what resonates with me a lot, was her adventure. She developed an adventurous spirit. And the adventurous spirit wasn't just with the camel in Morocco or doing affirmations in South America, I believe she said. It was even the small things was an adventure for her because she was stepping out of her comfort zone. And that resonated with me because I think people think that to conquer a mountain, you have to conquer a mountain, but sometimes it's just molehill by molehill until you can make it to that mountain type of goal.
Thank you. Also, so what if we get a time to your story? What are some of the fear that you want to share in your relationship with?
I touched on it, even explaining what Icy was talking about. It's progressing to greater and stepping out of your comfort zone repeatedly. And I joined the military at 18 years old. I exited. I joined the Marine Corps, which is considered the hardest branch. I was probably 60 pounds lighter than I am now, and I'm not too chunky, but I was a stick. And to think that I was going to become a Marine, people were like, oh, I don't know about that. If you drop out, it's okay. You tried. Like, so that let me know. That was an ignition to let me know I need to believe in myself. So that was one example of that. Then even when I was in the military and I said, I think I'm going to become a teacher. And they were like, oh, you're so soft. The kids are going to put you in a closet. So, so, so one thing with handling fear, I refers to it as white noise, but it's your own voice. I think my own voice outdrowned everyone else, what everyone else was saying, and also the people that have been along to help me along this path. I've had a coach too. She's a business coach, but she told us to write down everything we've ever accomplished. So now my default is if someone asks me to do something, I don't say, no, I can't do that. I've never done that before. I'm like, I've done something like this before. Maybe it was in third grade when I did an Easter speech, but I have some type of experience to show that I've been successful in doing this. And if it's not directly related to the task, it's other things in life. So I think the people along the path that you take and having your voice overpower the negative voices that you may hear.
Oh, that's such a good idea. Thank you for sharing it with us. Like making a list of the successes you had so far and accomplishments, because we quickly forget them, right? And by default, that inner voice, that white noise or mean voice, is just highlighting the imperfections and whatever we are not able to do. Yeah. Wow. So you practically have to exercise to just have a different mentality or different inner conversation. And I'm curious, thank you for sharing with us, Phyllis, about this technique that can help our inner voice be more kind with us, right? And encouraging. Um, I see. You said that you had a transformational coach, right? So
Yeah.
can you share with us a technique or two that was really empowering in your transformational process?
With my work with Tina, I realized, well, she made me realize, like, I and I find that a lot of people do this. We look in the mirror as we get up every day to get dressed, make sure your hair is okay and makeup, whatever. But I realized that I wasn't really looking at myself. I didn't like what I saw, the image as far as my body, my size and things like that. So like when she would tell me, we would do a lot of mirror work, and she found that I kept like, I'm looking in the mirror, but I keep doing this. And she's like, no, I want you to look at yourself and I want you to talk to that younger person. And I had not addressed, I was molested as a child by a family member. And for years, I had never spoken on it. My mother did not know about it until I was in my late 20s. Um, and I just kept it hidden, and realizing that it was so buried in my, what I call my emotional rabbit hole, that it had created this. I had ballooned over 400 plus pounds at my heaviest in my life, battling with obesity. And for me, the weight was like a shield, a protection, so that people didn't find me alluring. But then in the same breath, I was wearing a mask going through my day to day, because they're like, oh, she's so pretty. I got into full figure modeling. I could sing. I used to open up for some R&B artists that you hear on the radio to this day back in the day. But there was always a limit. Like I would only go but so far because fear would pull me back. So with doing the mirror work, I really started to look at my beauty, because I did not feel beautiful. Even when people were telling me, oh, she's so beautiful, da 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 da. In my head, I thought I was so ugly, which is so crazy. But I really wasn't looking at myself. And if a person told me, oh, you're so beautiful, if men told me that, I was like, you're lying. You just want money, you want something. I just never believed it. So it was like, again, that white noise and battling what I was seeing in the mirror, and just constantly doing affirmations and really owning who was showing up in the mirror, and loving the body that I'm presently in, so that I could respect the body that was to come because of the work that I was doing to lose weight and feel better and look better. I hope that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. And I mean, I know you believe it now, but I have to say, when I first saw you on camera, I was, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. You are gorgeous. And I'm
Thank
glad you
you.
finally see it and believe it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm curious. Was it Tina the one that got you to go to Morocco?
Yeah, I went with her.
You went with so
Let's
so
transform
actually
our
actually
lives.
so on 8 May, me and Lav was talking to Tina. Tina the one that she's a clairvoyant, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
yeah, so Tina is very interesting, by the way.
Uh-huh. She's amazing.
She's amazing. She got me thinking about some different stuff, by the way. So
Yeah.
yeah,
She
it's
actually made me realize that there were gifts that, again,
hmm
were in that emotional, that started to come out. I realized I'm an empath.
hmm
I'm an energy healer. I do have some clairvoyancy. I see things through dreams and energy when I'm meeting people. So it was like she just opened up things that years of therapy couldn't touch. And I was like, because I used to dream certain things as a child, but growing up in a religious West Indian home. If it wasn't written in the Bible, it could not be spoken or said. So it was like, I'm like, something's not right here. I thought I was crazy because I would feel certain things and see certain things, but afraid to share it because I didn't want people to put me in the loony bin. And with Tina, I was able to become really transparent. And then she had sent me an article and it said, "Are you an empath?" And everything that described, they might as well have put my face on the article because it was me. And I was like, oh my God. And it just opened up a world for me. It's like, oh, she's not crazy. This is who I am. And in the beginning, because of religion, you battle yourself. But I've come to the point where I know God. I have my connection with God, but I'm like, God wouldn't give me, God gave me this. God brought me to this point. So these are my gifts and I should not be afraid of them. I know people are scared of me, but I have my safety circle of like-minded people who get it, like Tina.
Yeah.
And that's where I gravitate to. And I've just come to a point of being unapologetic and like, okay, this is who Barzey-George is. Like it, love it, or leave it. And those who want to know, I don't go looking for you. They come to me. So that's here I am.
Thank you for sharing.
Isn't that our biggest fear, right? Our biggest fear is we are afraid of our gifts. We're afraid to face them because sometimes they scare us because like, wow, if that thing becomes successful, can I handle it? Because sometimes we're not afraid of failure, we're afraid of success actually. If that thing actually work, would I want to be in that position? Would I want to take on that responsibility? Would I be that accountable? And half the time we like, okay, I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna go back and hide away. So yeah.
But
And
see, a
it's
lot of
easy to go back in there. It's comfortable there. Real comfortable. COVID proved it for a lot of people. And it's like, because even for me, working in healthcare, and like I tell people, the first 4 weeks of the lockdown in New York, I lost 69 patients. I was losing like 4 patients a day. I would come in, the coroner was there, and I would leave the coroner. So that alone, and working in one facility for 30 plus years, that's family. I'm their family because they will see me more than they'll see their own children. So it became very cocooning, this lockdown for me emotionally. And I was like, I did not feel that I could pour into anyone through all of this at the time. So I had, we couldn't go anywhere because everything was locked down. So doing public speaking wasn't really feasible. Zoom became a good platform that I use a lot, but my mindset was just so fused at that time. So it was like really, again, trying to climb out of this because I said, I can't go back in there. I have a story to tell and people need to hear our voices. So here I am.
It was something interesting that you said, the being around Tina and people like her helped you kind of tap more into this gift that you have. And it's interesting. So something to reflect on is how we we outgrow sometimes our circle. And when we want to do something and we don't feel encouragement at all, but only like, hey, that's not good, just rejection, or they just make you feel like that's not for you. Maybe you should search for a different circle that's more nurturing toward what you want to do next in your life.
Oh yeah, I always am for promoting shedding the skin, move forward. My best friend of 30 plus years, she knows what I do. She's never been to a workshop. She's read my book. I'm an author also. She's read my books, but that's just not her world. But she can love me for what I do, but her children are very much impacted by what I do. So it's like, I'm not for everybody. I used to feel bad that my sisters are not by my side. It's not for them. Might be for their friends. Might be for someone that's connected to them. So I celebrate who shows up in my life now. I don't feel bad if you're like, girl, I can't come because blah, 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 whatever excuse. I'm like, no problem. It's not for you. And there was, like I said, there was a time it would hurt my feelings. It doesn't hurt me anymore because it's not for you. And it's not that it's not for you, period. It's just not for you in this meantime. It may be tomorrow, something may click. So, I just show up, and whoever shows up with me, I celebrate it. And yeah, I already had a very small friend circle. It's really small. It's like, sometimes I always say I'm a party of one, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
How about you, Phyllis? Phyllis, can you tell us about your circle of friends and your support system?
As you guys were speaking, I was thinking about a workshop I took called Combating Negative Self-Talk. And we had to write some reasons that we didn't want to be successful, or things that we thought were hindering us from our success. And one thing that I wrote was, I have a small circle already, and I believe if I grow even more successful, then it's less people than I would have. But that's a self-sabotaging thought, because I'll gain more people along the way. But it goes back to the fear of the unknown, different friends, so that familiarity. And I am thinking of other stuff that I've done in my life. And I had one thing, most of my friends I've had, I've been friends with them at least 10 years, most of the people that I've been friends with. And one thing I've noticed with a lot of my friends they are community minded people. So our traits match each other. Some of them I met in Toastmasters, some of them just at work, but maybe I would bring snacks and then they would bring snacks, or do something together for the community, because we are better together. So it's important to have strong people in your circle. And I'm so grateful that I do. My biggest supporter is my mom. I'm from a small town in Mississippi, and this was years ago. I had my book signed, and I was thinking, if 2 people show up, I'm happy. But my mom, she was a waitress at the time, and she was like, "Oh, Phyllis, I'm inviting." That's not my nickname. She called me Pooh. She's like, "I'm inviting a lot of people, so come down here. It's going to be successful." And I was just thinking, like, okay, our town doesn't even have a traffic light, so I doubt that. But it was successful, and a politician's wife was there, the congressman's wife was there. So I don't think you need a lot of people in your circle, but I do think you need a circle, and you never know what they're going to bring.
Yeah, the closest circle. Can you tell us about your books? I see you're both authors.
Yes, my book is called The Art of Me. One is for self-worth, one is for self-care, and the other ones are based on our journals. So it's creativity, it's mindfulness, and it's goal setting. So I wrote my book years ago, but I haven't done much with it. And as Icy was saying, with the pandemic, I call myself an adventurous introvert. So although I may be by myself a lot, when I was living in North Carolina, I would go to different places. So that affected me. And that's how the coloring book came, The Art of Me, 30 Pages to Self-Care. So they all focus on bettering yourself, but also in an individual way.
Nice, thank you. How about you, ICB?
I wrote 2 books. They're actually collaborations that I did with some great women. The first one is called I Am. It's inspirational affirmations from mothers that I did with 10 other women. And the second book is called Organized Obstacles, that I actually co-wrote with Tina C. Hines and another author, where we wrote about our weight journey and transformation and the whole mind, body, soul connection. Because for me, my weight loss, the weight was the last thing. For me, it was the losing the emotional weight, the emotional attachment that I had to food because of the fear and the emotional baggage that I was carrying as a child. So we each had several chapters in the book, and it's been very impactful. From that, I have been going into public speaking and using my story with my clients as far as telling my story, because so many people are going through the same struggles, just, you know, a little differently depending on what their relationship is to food. So it's been powerful. I'm currently I pick it up and I put it down because I said to myself, my next book is going to be only done by myself. And so I've been basically writing my story bit by bit, because there's so much that has happened. It's like I can't just put it down now. I'm still writing. So I pick it up, I put it down. So I'm working on that now. I don't have a title yet because there's so much going on. So I'm excited.
I'm inspired
Thank you.
by both of you, by the way. And we tapped into something that's very critical. It's the circle, the support system, because without that, a lot of us feel like we're alone on this journey. And I think the express way to any kind of failure is support system. If you have a good support system, you can make it through very good. So now I was thinking about, I want to ask both of you this question. I don't know if you are open to share it, but I'm curious to know. Like, I wrote it down. I was like, who wants to see you fail, ICB? Do you know those people?
Who wants to see me fail? The
Haters.
the insecure, naive, fearful part of me. Because I can't think that anybody around me would want to see me sincerely fail.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I need to not listen to that white noise that will tell you you can't do it, or no one's gonna believe you, or pass judgment. So basically it's me.
I love your answer.
I can't listen to me, that me. Like I said before, fear is like a toxic boyfriend. I broke up with him a long time ago and I don't want him back. So anybody else could have him, but I don't want it. But it's me. I even wrote a letter to my younger self, giving myself permission to do the healing and celebrating the new me that's to come, and letting my younger me know that all that has transpired only leads us to today, and not to blame yourself, because this is not about blame. Unfortunately, this is the life lessons that I had to go through to get to this moment that I'm having with you guys right now. And I will have many more moments like this as long as I choose to heal and show up.
I love it. Asher, you're muted.
Oops, sorry. So that was a very powerful and moving answer there, ICB. Oh my God, that is such an incredible answer. And I'm curious because Phyllis, I'm actually the same question too. Because it could be you could know some names, but oftentimes I love ICB answer. What's your question? What's the answer to that question, Phyllis?
I do think there are some people who want you to fail, but that's just because that's what's in them. It's nothing against you personally. They may just have a disdain for growth, and they may say negative comments, but I wouldn't take it personal. I had recently wrote about being unoffendable. I wouldn't take it personal because it's not who I am, it's just who they are. So I have to just brush it off, and no matter who wants to see me fail, they're not going to see that. So having that attitude takes you far also.
Wow.
That's another good answer. Thank you, ladies. Wow, that's true. And it can be just because maybe they want to be where you are, but they don't have, they are blocked by fear.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was
Right?
thinking earlier today that jealousy is just misplaced admiration.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
True.
And the thing too, sometimes, the people that want to see you fail is because they don't want you to step up. If you step, you're gonna leave them. And like, I want to keep you here with me. So I
That's
want you to
true.
fail so you can stay with me.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
That's another great answer. Oh my God. just wisdom here. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Well,
So
we're at the point where we gotta wrap up, and I gotta respect you guys' time. We were here for an hour to conversate, to have a conversation, and it's been awesome, by the way, just hearing both you guys just really share some deep stuff. And Lavinia, as always, hosting and co-hosting with me and just asking awesome question. But if anybody got to reach and contact you, or anybody, how they want, if they're like, oh my God, ICB, that was incredible. Oh my God, Phyllis, that was incredible. How can I work with you? How can I work with you? How can I work with you?
You can get in contact with me on getfitwithic.com. You can connect through all my social media pages as well as my online health and wellness online store that I have. And yeah, you can get in contact with me there. I am open for public speaking and to be on podcast. So I'm really at this point, I am allowing myself to be open for all opportunities that will stimulate my growth. So that's how I always put it. So sometimes
love
I
it.
even ask people to challenge me, push me into the fire, so if you will.
Yeah. I love your confidence, by the way. You just put fears to sleep, man. Oh my God. I love it.
I had
What
to
about
put them
you?
out.
Yeah, totally, totally.
That's the new boyfriend.
Yes, honey. I
Confident.
don't want him. I got a whole husband now. I don't need you.
Same
If you,
question.
oh, go ahead.
No, same question for you, Phyllis. If anybody see you like, oh, how can I work with you? How can I work with you?
So I am on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and things like that. You can go the art of me _ THEEART of me. But my website is www.theartofme.com. So I do write, but I also believe writing is a powerful tool to empower yourself and to see how much growth you made, and get rid of fears and do all of that. Writing can do that. So I do various writing workshops. I even have one called 5 Devotions to combat negative self-talk. So I do different workshops as well based on some of the things I've written.
Congratulations. For both
Thank
of
you.
you.
And thank you for having me.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
We're not over yet. We're just
We
trying
not?
to get some of the formalities out the way. We're not over yet. We got a few. We got one more yet. One more left. But speaking of writing, like me and Lav, we also into the writing business as well. We just love the journey because it's very healing, very confident, very empowering to kind of write and to share your stuff and share your story. And actually, my third book, which is my story, comes out on the 21st of May. Actually, this weekend, right? No, but
Oh,
next week.
next
Next week.
week.
Next week,
Nice.
yeah. So I'm getting that out there on the road, and I'm working on another multiple authors book. Actually, this one is focused on immigrants' journey, which me and I are working on with a couple of other immigrants. So we're working on organized immigrant story, and
Nice.
it's been a really good journey just to really write and share stories and just put stuff out there. Very empowering. So I congratulate both of you.
Thank
Stepping into that
you.
space and owning it.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Closing question for both of you. Start with you, Phyllis. I'm gonna start with you, Phyllis. What is that one thing or two thing when people do it drive you crazy? If you don't mind sharing.
Make fun of my accent. That's one thing that annoys me a lot, is when people make fun of my accent and they'll repeat something I said. And another thing is, I would say, like, asking for advice but not really wanting it. Just tell me I want to vent, instead of asking for any guidance and stuff. And I'll just listen. I'll just listen to you like, oh man, that's crazy. But please don't ask me for input and then get annoyed by the input.
Great, thank you. How about you, ITB?
Do we have time? I hate excuses. If you want to piss me off after seeing all that I've done, and then you want to make excuses why you can't do it, and I'm like, did you not just see me cross the Sahara Desert? Stop making excuses. That's one thing. And like Phyllis said, I'm very funny about respecting people's time. Don't come to me and then you're asking for advice, and then it's like you don't want to hear the truth, because I'm very raw. I'm not going like this. I'm going
New
like
York
that.
style.
Yeah, I'm Bronx. So Bronx comes out, and I've learned through this journey that not, even though people want to heal, they don't want to face the truth. So when I tell the truth, they're like this. And I'm like, but you asked me. So that pisses me off. It's like, then don't ask me. So I tell people all the time, if you want the truth, don't ask me, because I'm gonna tell you whether you want to hear it or not, because I figure you're looking to me and respect my opinion or whatever you're looking for. So I'm gonna say it. It may not be what you want to hear, but nobody said that truth was yummy. What we go through in life has not been yummy. What I've been through has not been yummy. And I've had to cry and scream and fight through it, but you overcome it. But I just can't take excuses. I'll just look, I turn off, and I usually will walk away. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. Because I gotta protect my space. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Wow. We're gonna call it a wrap.
Yeah,
we're gonna close that chapter. We're gonna close that chapter. Unless we're gonna go in the room real quick and just kind of ask. I'm gonna start with Lav today. Lav, if you don't mind sharing, what was your biggest takeaway from this conversation?
Be yourself no matter what. Don't apologize for that, and surround yourself with people who will nurture your next project.
Thank you. Phyllis, what about you?
I would say to remain positive in your inner dialogue and believe that good things are happening to you, and they will come.
They will.
Mhm.
ICB?
I would say the Bible says that your room will show your gifts. Show up. Show them. There are so many talented people laying in the cemeteries as we speak right now that have not written that book, sang that song, had that speech, told their loved ones that they really loved them or what they thought about them. Just be unapologetic and show up. That's it.
Thank you so much. And it's something common here between all of us. We all writers. We all document and record our stories. And I think it's incredibly powerful when you could think about the legacy of history. Like just imagine your great-great-grand offspring. It's kind of like, what was great-great-grandmother like? I get to read it. It's recorded. Because back in the day, only the folks that had certain kind of, certain kind of income was able to record this stuff for their great-grand to like, oh yeah, my great-grandfather written a book. I get to read about it. But now, a lot of us are doing either record it in writing somewhere, but we put in a record on history, document it, and other folks can actually go and tap into it. So I really love that stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait.
Yeah.
When I'm gone, somebody gonna be like, well, what was Asher talking about?
Yeah.
Like I want to know what Asher was thinking. Like, all these Asher think. Oh yeah, it's you can find it.
Yep.
Find it.
Yeah.
I just hope that in the very far future they'll be able to access all our videos, right? Because I cannot tell you how many DVDs I have behind me that we cannot access anymore, or cassette tapes and recordings.
Yeah.
There's no way to, you know.
I
see
try to
them
record my
anymore.
mom now when I call them her Antiguan proverbs. When she's doing stories now, I just low key record her on video and I send them to my sisters because I said, because if you ask her, she's like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, but it's a cultural thing. It's like you just didn't tell your business. And it's like, so I will start a story. I'm like, Ma, did you do this when you were little? And she'll say, when I was such a, she just starts talking and she's cooking. Everything is around food. She's cooking and I just let her talk. And I sit with the camera to the side and I'm just there, chopping with her. And that's what my daughter has learned to do that too. Because back in the day, you just didn't share certain things, so it's hard. It's like I see as an American West Indian child growing up, you don't usually find out a lot of things until the person dies. So I want to have these experiences while she's still here. Because I realized that when my father died 6 years ago, and he was very private. And a lot of the stuff we learned about him, I did not know growing up. It wasn't until he passed we found
Wow.
out
See?
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my mom, I'm like, I will pull it out. She just doesn't know I'm pulling it out and get her. And I use my daughter because I'm firstborn. She's first grandchild. So she's the golden child. So I'm like, yeah, ask grandma about such and such. And I just sit there and I'm chopping and taping. So that's what I do.
Funny because I did that to my mom as well. We had like a long drive road trip, and she started at talking and telling me stories from her youth and all that.
Yeah.
And I didn't click from the very beginning to start the recording process, but then later, oh, so tell me more. And I was like, there are nice, funny stories that I know if
Oh,
I tell
yeah.
her like, hey, tell me those stories and I'll record, you should be like,
No, yeah.
no, I cannot. I don't know what to say. Oh my God, no. And
Mhm.
it's nothing like personal that you have to hide or burn the
Right.
evidence. But
Mhm.
they're just funny stories from her youth.
Yeah, yeah, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Ladies, I will let that be the last word.
All right.
And for those who are watching us, if you're catching us on lives, go and put hashtag live in the chat. If you're catching us on replay, same thing, hashtag replay in the chat. Let us know you're watching and listen to us. And you've heard from ICB, George, Phyllis Williams, Queen Lav, on the Pandora's Awareness podcast, a place where we collect stories and circulate life changing wisdom. And with that, make it an awesome day.